What's going on, Geek fam? GeekSpot82 here. Thought I'd come to you live from the bunker tonight and talk about Zombicide. It's one of my favorite board games that I've ever played. I'm new to board gaming, so I may not know everything about them, but I thought I'd talk to you guys and explain why I enjoy this one and maybe show you guys some of the stuff I picked up along the way to make it a more immersive experience when I play with my family. We genuinely like playing this board game, and if you guys would be interested, we'd love to play one live for you guys sometime. So maybe leave me a comment below and let me know if that's something you'd be interested in. So to start, Zombicide was published way back in the day. The initial version of the game had like a modern day feel to it. You had guns, you had Molotov cocktails, you had cars, and you had zombies. It went through a couple of iterations. I missed the boat on those. I didn't hop on until they came out with the second version of the game, which was called Black Plague. So Black Plague was put up on Kickstarter in 2013. It made $4 million plus, and with it you could get the Black Plague base game along with the first expansion, Wolfsburg, which added some more upgraded characters for you to play with, and along with that, upgraded enemies to go against. So I was able to pick this up in 2015. I missed that initial Kickstarter, and boy did I regret it, because some of the Kickstarter exclusives that they gave you were just awesome. So for the longest time, I was very upset that I missed out on them, but we're going to talk more about that in a bit. So the game comes with your basic rule book. I'm not going to go over the game in great detail. If you are interested in playing the game, please message me. I'll be more than happy to talk to you about it, or do what I did, read the rule book. It's not too hard. It's a board game. But we jumped right in. We started playing, and we started painting miniatures. So for me, the painting the miniatures part became very therapeutic. It helped me release a lot of stress. It was a lot of fun, and it was not something I'd ever done before. I've definitely gotten better as I have progressed. One of the tools I used to start was I watched Painters Guild on Viva, I forget the name of the channel. It had Will Friedle, and he would have guest artists come on and help you understand the tips and tricks and how to paint. And it was a fantastic program. I don't think it's running any longer, but I'm sure you can find some clips of it here on YouTube. I'll even link one for you guys to go check out. But it totally helped get me started. By no means my master, but it got me on the road. So I started painting my miniatures, and I will try to get you a nice close-up of this pretty guy. He was one of my early zombies I did, and from there we progressed to some bloody zombies where maybe I'm starting to mutilate them a little more. We had some runner zombies. Those were cool. But of course, everybody wants to play with the heroes, so I started painting the heroes. And of course, I'll throw some good pictures up here. Hopefully, you can see them. And here's another one. The red hair. So, like I had said before, we had missed out on the initial Kickstarter for this game, and it came with what was called the Huntsman Pack and the Knight Pack. Luckily, Common, or Simon, however you guys want to pronounce it, there's different variations, I've heard them both ways, just did what they called the time machine, and I was able to go pick this pack up, and I was so glad I did, because it just goes for an insane price in the aftermarket. But I really wanted to play with some of these playable characters, which included their version of Xena, the warrior princess, which I was happy to pick up. And it came with some really cool necromancers. Look at that guy. And of course you can't have a necromancer without his abomination there. And that was my first foray into basing. So very basic still. So I picked that up along with the Knights Pack. Bam! There. And it also came with Grom and Talia, which I have not opened yet, but that's basically your Red Sonja and Conan the Barbarian, their version. Obviously, for copyright purposes, they can't call them that. And Batman and Joker, or Grin and Scowl. So a lot of fun to be had there. But beyond the characters, everybody likes to play with different characters. Everybody likes really cool villains. I found that I really wanted to immerse myself into the board, so I started picking up pieces like openable and closable doors. But some of the missions required that you had color-specific doors that you couldn't open until you found a certain objective. So, of course, we had to make sure we had those covered. And to get those, you had to find certain chests. So we bought different chests. Some of them are open, some of them are closed. And then on the bottoms, I painted the corresponding color for the door. That way I knew I had the right treasure chest to get into those doors. And then we started buying spawn points instead of the cardboard starting points. We started painting our own spawn points. That way the zombies could come out of their crypts with all the necroplasm still listed, just covering and breaking out of there. And then luckily I was able to find somebody on eBay who manufactures these plastic doors, both with an iron grate and a wood door there. I think I maybe paid $15 total for a pack of 4 of these, 2 in each color. That way you felt like you were just a little more immersed into the game. And then lastly, I picked up this sorting box, which saves so much time. There are different, just a ton of different cards that you have to use in correspondence with this game. And I picked this up to help sort, store, and save me some time on my setup. If you haven't played this game, I highly suggest it. It is so much fun to play. I would say it's maybe 8 and up would be acceptable. There is some language in the rule book as far as the story it's telling, but as the narrator or the dungeon master, you could modify that to make sure it's home appropriate for your kids. But my daughters love it. My son loves it. He's only 4, but he wants to play so bad. So that is it for the Black Plague Wolfsburg version of the game. But luckily, around in 2017, when Green Horde came out, and I was able to pick up that Kickstarter. We're going to talk about that right now. So I was able to pick up the Green Horde set. So the part that was really cool about the Green Horde set was you're fighting goblins or trolls or whatever you want to call them now, instead of just zombies. So now there's an additional enemy type to fight, and it came with this trebuchet. So a lot of this set I haven't got to paint yet because there's so much to paint from each one of these sets, well over 100 miniatures for each, that I just haven't gotten to it. But it came with the trebuchet, and again, you were able to get the Green Horde box, and then the Horde box was all the Kickstarter exclusives. So like I said, I was able to jump on the bandwagon and get this. This Kickstarter specifically made another $4 million. So it was insane watching the numbers just tick up every day I was checking it. And it was a great process to be a part of because I got to see all the new characters that were going to be in the Horde box, the Kickstarter exclusives that I was going to be able to play with. And a lot of times they model them after real life pop culture. So unfortunately around this time is when the actress that played Princess Leia died, so they have a Countess Ordelia figure to play with who is a direct version of Princess Leia. It was a lot of fun. They have Garnassus, who looks like Cassius Clay. They've got Iron Man, they've got Wolverine, they've got Storm, they've got Bram Stoker's Dracula. So there was some really cool figures to play with here. And the great thing about Zombicide is you can mix and match because the system works. So I can play my Green Horde with my Black Plague and it still works totally fine. The other really cool thing they did was they gave us a giant. So a big figure here. And if your giant hero dies, he then becomes a zombie or a White Walker if you're a Game of Thrones fan. So I was super excited about that. And it came with a dragon. So a big bone dragon, big bone daddy. I'm really looking forward to painting him. Like I said, I just haven't gotten that far. I want to finish the first game before I start painting the second game. Not that we haven't played the second game, but because we definitely have, and it's a lot of fun as well. And the new heroes definitely help reset some of the power levels that you were facing in the initial game and really make this game very interesting when you mix in some of those older heroes again. So, and then the kicker, the ultimate kicker, the only figure from this set that I have painted to date is the Chromataz Abomination. It is an undead unicorn that will come after all your heroes. So I just loved this figure. I had to get it. So awesome. I will have to make sure I post a good photo of this one so you guys can see all the detail. Great figure, great time painting it. I'm really looking forward to painting the rest. There are some really cool figures in here. And then I was also able to pick up a couple of the guest artist or special guest packs. So these are where they get a sculptor or a different artist to render some new figures, monsters, what have you, to go with the game. So I got Gateway Uprising from Sean Murray, and I got Paulo Parente's Anistar set. Both of those have some really cool stuff in them, and I'm really looking forward to playing with those and getting those painted as well. That's the green Horde box. Again, this came out about 2017, I think, and made about $4 million. And right after that, Zombicide rolled into their next set, which changed up the theme even further. But wouldn't you know, I was there for that Kickstarter, and we got that to talk about too, and we're going to talk about that right now. Here we have Zombicide Invader. This came out. It made about $303,500,000, and it did fantastic. It was a lot of fun watching this one as it processed through the whole thing. As you can see, I haven't even opened it yet. We moved, luckily, in 2019, so I haven't even got a chance to play this one yet. And again, I'm still painting the first game that I played. We're still playing through the second game, so there's a lot to these to get caught up. But this one was really cool because this one takes us to outer space, and we start seeing these giant alien bugs. And you're stuck in a space station, and you got to fight your way out. So imagine, you know, a little bit of Aliens mixed with any other space movie with alien bugs that you've seen. Here's another Abomination. A lot of fun. So this one grabbed me. Again, I enjoy the system that it plays with. I enjoy the way the game mechanics work. I like the interactivity of the game. I like that you're not fighting other players. You're working cooperatively to get through what the game is throwing at you. And this one came out perfectly because it has a Rick and Morty figure for you to play as your hero. Obviously, you may not be able to see these very well because of the detail, but I will make sure I post some cool photos of these guys for you. But wow, I was super excited to play as Rick and Morty. This was right after Rick and Morty Season 3 had ended, and we didn't know if we were going to get a Season 4 or not. So I was very happy those were a part of the Kickstarter exclusives. And those came with, you got an extra soldier pack. So this had, you know, some more heroes, some more aliens for you to fight. And then you got this big box. It's not as pretty as the Horde box was, but it's full of stuff. It's got all kinds of miniatures in here from all kinds of different pop culture references. They've got Fifth Element characters. They've got Stephen Hawking. They've got Back to the Future caricatures. So again, they really dove deep with the pop culture and hit the good spots, so to speak. So this one, I still am really excited to play, and this may be the one we play for you guys. This might be a fun one to try out and talk about. So we'll see. And then I've got one last thing to talk about, and we're going to talk about that coming right. So, as I had said previously, I had missed out on the very first version of the game where it was modern day times. Luckily, CMON had me in mind when they launched their second to newest campaign, Zombicide 2nd Edition. It is back in modern times, and it is a carbon copy of the first game with upgraded detail. So I'm super excited about this one. The Kickstarter came out early 2019. It made about $3,400,000, and once I knew I was getting it, I started going out and I picked up a couple of the game night packs. So these were sent to your local game store or your comic shop, and it had promo figures, game pieces, and extra dice, stuff like that. And you would, the thought was you would go play a game of Zombicide at your local game store, maybe pick up a copy, and they would send you home with a couple of extra things that you could play with. So we got the game night number 1, 2, and 3. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to pick up the other few, but on the back of this one you can see that looks like an Ian McShane character from maybe Deadwood. You guys tell me, I don't know. This one for Game Nights 2 looked kind of like Austin Powers to me. Groovy. I had no clue who the first one was. Maybe you guys can help clue me in. First Game Night. Who do you think that is? Pop culture reference. But right around the same time that they announced the Kickstarter, they also announced that they were going to do something special with IDW, the comic book publisher, for the Ninja Turtles, and they released these 2 Ninja Turtle add-on packs. And you get all 4 turtles, you get Shredder, you get Krang, you get Bebop and Rocksteady, and I'm super, super excited to play these mixed in with that game. Again, they did the pop culture references. Machete, Mr. Danny Trejo was heavily featured in the trailer. He was featured in the game. You get a zombie Danny Trejo. Who doesn't want to see that? Who else did they give? I don't really remember. They did some really cool abominations in this one. If you had a mummy, you had, you know, some of those epic. A Bigfoot was in there. So I'm really looking forward to play that one. And I think these little additions are going to really be fun to play with as well. And then lastly, in December of 2019, they released their last Kickstarter that I know of to date for Zombicide, and it was the Night of the Living Dead themed Zombicide. It made about $300,000, $400,000. Not their best outing, but it's a pretty niche thing. It was just a basic Zombicide game, dialed down to fit in the black and white era Night of the Living Dead. So you got those characters with those, you know, zombie rules, and to me it was a perfect mashup. It just made total sense to add to that to my collection of games from CMON and Zombicide. I think it was knocked out of the park. I think it's going to be so much fun to play. I think you could watch the movie, play the game, and just really immerse yourself in that world for, you know, half an hour, 45 minutes. So I'm really looking forward to playing that with my kids. So that's the video for today, guys. I hope you had a good time. If you have questions about Zombicide or any other board games that you think maybe would be fun to play or check out, please let me know. I'm always interested in learning about a new game. But don't be afraid to hit that like button, leave me a comment, and hit that alert button. Make sure you're getting all the notifications that I'm posting these videos. And I look forward to talking to you guys again soon.